to know me. Yeah, purge me now of thoughts of blaming you. Yes, the car is a wheelchair, my weakness. Your coffin, only silence, not the legless. Want to travel now with coffins on the corner. The jury sleepless. We found your weakness. And it's right outside the door. Now testify. Now testify. It's right outside the door. Now testify. Yes, testify. It's right outside the door.
We found your weakness, and that's right outside your door, and I'll testify. Okay, so we're gonna jump in with Dusseldorf, Rage Against the Machine. Yeah. Now let's listen to that, and let's come up with a moment. Ooh. Okay. This guy was just on Young Turks. This dude, he's a total fucking regressive cunt. Some good footage, crowd footage. Now he starts singing here. Okay, what? Okay. Let's cut the volume. Let's turn the volume on this. Shit, I think it's right up there.
The movie, ran through me, the glamour, subdue me, the tabloid.
I think he's ways.
Ran through me, the glamour, subdue me, the tabloid. Untie me, I'm empty, please fill me, Mr. Anchor.
So we need to speed the whole thing up. That whole thing. Clickety click on that. And we're just gonna drop it right here. We're doing a big ass video about statues. Now let's try that. Let's just get a sense. It's hard when it's this.
Do me. Tabloid, untie me, I'm empty, please fill me, Mr. Anchor, show me that Baghdad is burning, your voice it is so soothing, that calling mantra of killing, I need you, my witness.
Okay, so it's stabilized.
You, my witness, to twist this up so bloodless, to know me, and purge me now of thoughts of blaming you. Yes, the car is a wheelchair, my witness, your coffin, only silence, not the leg. Twist this up so bloodless, to know me, and purge me now of thoughts of...
Oh, fucked beyond belief now. Now, we're gonna grab both of these, and we're gonna come in. I think it's... we need to do it faster.
My witness, your coffin, only silence, not the legless. Want to travel now with coffins on the corner. The jury sleepless.
It's almost.
We found your weakness. And it's right outside the door. Now testify.
Okay, so let's just listen to what you say. Okay, so it doesn't matter. I'll just.
Now testify.
Okay, so that's got to be back here.
Now testify. It's right outside the door.
We'll do it in parts.
Outside the door now.
Okay, that one needs to be slowed down. So you click it there, and you spread it there.
Now testify. It's right outside the door. Now testify.
like that would be a dance break because he goes right into the second verse, I believe. Let's check it. With precision. So let's move back here. There's a very talented Austrian DJ who made this song. Precision, there it is. Recognize. Okay.
You feed me, my witness. I'm hungry. Your temple, you can't be, so I can carry on. My saving.
All right, he's going off the reservation again. Because this is for the people of the sun. I'm coming back around again. Oh.
With precision, you feed me, my witness. I'm hungry. Your temple, you can't be, so I can carry on. My saving, sweating, I skin right off my bones. On a bed on fire, I'm choking on a smoke that fills my home. Your wrecking ball is rushing. Witness, you're blushing. The pipeline is gushing. While here we lie in two, while on the corner, your jury's sleepless. We found your weakness, and it's right outside your door. Now testify.
Like that. The grip comes in all hard. See that? Like the sound dude is like, looks like a backup dancer. That's a very compelling shot graphically because you got the bassist in the background moving in unison with this guy in the foreground with the graffiti in the back. It's nice. Ooh. Action is very kinetic, you know, obviously, but the kinetic aspect of it transcends the sum of its parts, because with the music it's so now what is he talking about? Singing about here? He's singing about something. All that sort of dance breakish, whatever. It's here. Not this. Who controls the past now? Okay, so we come to who controls, and we're gonna kill all that.
Who controls the past now? Controls the future.
That drum break is nice.
Who controls the past?
Get him fuck up there. That shot right there.
Who controls the past now? Controls the future.
So
Who controls the present?
one back even more.
Who controls the past now? Controls the future.
The past is, see, when you're doing lip syncing, and I've got some experience with this, you know, certain letters like the P, pa, you got to get to the pa quicker. You see that? So we could pull it there and pull it back. Try that.
Who controls the past now?
More.
Who controls the past now? Controls the future. Who controls the present now? Control.
The present has got to be a little bit chilled out. So you're gonna like that.
Who controls the present now? Controls the past. Who controls the past?
Chill them out a little bit again.
Who controls the past now? Controls the future. Who controls the present now?
A like a lot of live performers, he got a little bit animated and he sped it up. So.
Who controls the past now? Controls the future. Who controls the present now? Now testify. Let's run outside the door now.
Ooh. Flexing on the testify. Needs to be. Rest of that I will change up later alligator. And so you got the baseline there, and then we're going to layer on top of that other elements. But first,
okay, it's time for me to dive in. I can't resist. It's just too juicy. Genk and the people over at the Young Turks are frothing at the mouth. Genk.
And I'll gankify. Is Joe live yet?
Genk and the people over at the Young Turks are frothing at the mouth, super excited that they have new bad guys, new villains. White people are racist. Let's talk about slavery. Let's talk about the Confederacy. They prefer to do nothing else. This is their favorite thing to do in the world. So Genk starts off by talking about, ooh, what about the symbolism of you put a rope around the... Ooh, what about the symbolism of you put a rope around the Confederate guy's head?
I'll show you what I'm talking about, which is this video.
Okay, there's still a ton of racist monuments in America, but take that number that pre-existed and subtract 1 from it.
Liberal Democrat. My favorite thing out of this whole story is against the Confederacy, which committed treason against the United States of America and supported slavery. I agree. Barney is against that, and so am I. And there was a really interesting symbolism there that was probably unintended of basically a rope around the neck of the Confederate soldier as they brought it down. Now, in that case, it's just symbolism. It wasn't a person. In the past, it was a person, and it was being done to the other side.
Guy's head around the ooh, what about the symbolism of you put a rope around the Confederate guy's head? And you dragged him down, but it was the other way around before. Yeah. You know, because the lynchings, because I want to talk about lynchings, because I'm not a race hustler or a race baiter. But in 2017, let's talk about lynchings from the 19th century. And did you hear how he phrased it? He said, no. It wasn't an actual person this time when it was the rope around the statue, but it was when it was for the other side. In the past, it was a person, and it was being done to the other side. Other side. What? Now just reflect on that. Reflect on what he said, and let's see if there's any insight into why he might have chosen those words. Fascinating. Fascinating. The other side? What other side? He's not talking north versus south. Those are whites and whites. There were not mass lynchings. He's talking about blacks and whites. Those are the sides. I tried to tell people that these guys are trying to start a race war and profit off it the entire way. The entire way. They just got 20 million in funding. Okay? Okay? So if you don't like these ideas, guess what? They're going to come louder and more often and on a bigger platform. So as my platform withers and dies, theirs grows exponentially. Oh, they just had a meeting with YouTube. Personal meeting with the CEO. I didn't. I have personal meetings with virgins. I have and trannies and people with MS. All lovely people, but with zero power and influence. So, Cenk, what were the sides? What are we talking about? Oh, yes, the evil Confederacy, the evil slave owners who are all dead, long dead, well beyond living memory of any human being. 150 years is kind of a long time, kind of long. Now you want the, now you slip up, now you slipped up and you suggested that you want the two sides to be whites versus blacks. But surely you would say, no, I meant the white. No, I meant the white. Surely you would say, no, I meant the Southerners, the white Southern. No, I meant the white Southerners, the whites in the white Southerners, the whites in the Confederacy, the white slave owners. But the lines do get blurred. It's hard to figure out, like, because the slave owners were very few. But then there were people who were also in support of that. And you know, there's a bunch of racists all over the place. And I mean, who's really a racist and who's not? Yeah, they all kind of seem racist. It's kind of a thing with white people. I mean, they're kind of all racist. I mean, we can call it unconscious bias, or we could say they have white privilege, or we could just say they're part of a system that is a white supremacist system, a white supremacist country. There's a million different ways to rage against white people. And, you know, and anybody who's willing to declare themselves to be white, you know, a white nationalist, a white identitarian, alt-right dude, conservative, Republican, Trump. Sure, just smear them all with the same label. Here's their problem. There is no Confederacy. Nobody supports that. The war is over. The war is over. Nobody supports them. Nobody's in favor of slavery. There's no threat. There is no threat that slavery will ever return. Nobody's lynching anybody. Nobody's in favor of lynching anybody. We have laws against all of these things. So what the fuck are we doing here? He wants a war. He needs two sides. He doesn't have an enemy side. So he's created one. And it's a big ass wide net. And it surrounds a lot of white people. There's a ton of whites who live today, who are against all of these things from the past, and yet he's trying to merge them all together, make it super messy, very confusing, and have an enemy. Because a hero without an enemy is nothing. That's Clark Kent. You don't get Superman until you get a villain. You don't get the Incredible Hulk until somebody makes him angry. You need an enemy. You need an antagonist. And these bloated bitches and this bloated brown sperm whale and this bloated brown sperm whale sperm is so hell-bent on waddling his way to the top of some virtue podium to announce to us all that he's super careful, that he's super empathetic and just a swell great guy. Oh, by the way, pay me as I tell you how much of a swell great guy I am. That he's willing to make villains of us all. I want to be a hero. I need a villain. There are no villains. You're the villain. I'm the hero. Any questions?
Honey, I'm still free. Take a chance on me. Again, one. We call that. We go monkey. Monkey see, monkey do.
And now, also on a lighter note, they got to be careful with those statues. Somebody's going to get hurt. Okay.
Okay, it's fucking retarded to tear down statues. It makes no sense whatsoever. And their graphic there of their little word play, it says Statue of Limitations, which is a joke, almost ish, about Statute of Limitations, which is a legal term that means that there is a maximum amount of, that's in reference to the fact that there's a maximum amount of years that can go by before a criminal act cannot be prosecuted again. Cannot be prosecuted. Cannot be prosecuted. Can go by before a criminal act cannot be prosecuted. So if you committed a crime 50 years ago, they cannot, depending on the crime, they cannot initiate legal action against you. So maybe the spastic freaks tearing down the statue. And by the way, try dieting down there. Motherfucker, they're young and fat. That is crazy. It's so goddamn impossible. It's almost fucking impossible to be young and unattractive. And yet people do it. I see it all the time. Now, your face might be a little off, the symmetry, you're not a looker. But at least the bare minimum, your body should not be fat if you're young. Especially. It shouldn't be fat if you're old. But young? You haven't even had time to eat enough. And yet you're sloppy as shit. So let's just think about the statute of limitations when it comes to the Confederacy, which is a discussion about slave owners. That's what they want to talk about. They want to talk about an era of time that is hundreds of years ago because it makes them feel good. Okay, so do you think 150 years is enough time? Or do you want to press charges in regards to the crime of slavery I mean, it'd be great. You could do like an opening argument. You could be like, I'm against slavery because I think it's wrong to enslave people. Aren't I awesome? Problem is, who are you going to sue? Tricky. So not only has the statute of limitations on the issue of slavery long since been exhausted, long since been surpassed, long since been surpassed. There isn't a thing, there isn't a person to, there is not a single person, there is not a single person you could put on trial for this. This would be like holding the Nuremberg trials. And for all the life noobs out there, that was the series out there. That was the series of war trials that they did for the Nazis in the aftermath of World War II, where we ended up trying a bunch, convicting a ton, and hanging them. What they are doing today is the equivalent of trying Nazis, of prosecuting Nazis, equivalent of prosecuting Nazis in the year 2090. So, for all the scrubs born in 2070 who are in college in 2090, they're going to be in an uproar and saying, hey, I'm against Nazis. Well, sweet, so am I. Fuck them. Let's get them. Let's announce how much we're against. Let's announce how much we're against Nazis. I think it's relevant. And then somebody might say, well, it's 2090. Surely we should be focusing on sex robots or warp speed. No, let's talk about the 1940s. I'm not over it. I'm not over it. I'm not over it emotionally. Okay, fine. Let's sue somebody. Who are we suing? I don't know. Are there any Are there any Nazis? Nope, they're all dead. Okay, well, are there any people around today who look like Nazis? Well, what do you mean? I don't know, same color? Yes, well, Nazis were white. There are white people today. Okay, fine. Then fuck whites. Huh? Yes, correct. And not all Nazis were.
It was terrifying to watch it. I was happy that people had kind of cleared out because you don't know what's going to happen when it hits the ground. Okay, and then here's another reaction. This is from Doug McElway, who is a reporter for Fox.
So at World War II, who were not World War II.
Great granddaddy did.
Yeah. So my point to that is, there were a lot of German soldiers in World War II who were not Nazis. Not all the soldiers were Nazis. The higher ups were Nazis.
Yes, correct. And not all Nazis were the same. And not all Nazis were responsible for war crimes. Some were just regular family men. It's interesting that Cenk is raising this. It's interesting that Cenk is raising this point. Like, it's such a non-point. But again, notice this is from the editor in me. Notice what he's talking about. Notice that he's not talking about the Young Turks and the Armenian genocide. Notice that he's not talking about the Hutus from Rwanda. He's talking about the Nazis. So it's a perfect storm. Dylan Storm Roof. You're talking about the Confederacy and slavery. Oh, that's beautiful. Fuck you, whites. Feel guilty on that one. Stew in that. And then he goes to a totally tangential, just let's talk about the Nazis. And the reason he's doing that is because he wants to further illustrate that white people are fucking evil and horrible. Oh, but now he's prefacing it. He's saying, but now he's saying, oh, it doesn't mean that all white people and the descendants of Nazis and my girlfriend's grandfather is a Nazi. Right now, he's alive and was a Nazi. Got shot during the war. Not an evil man, not a bad family man. He wasn't working at Auschwitz. He didn't decide any of this shit. He was along for the ride. He has a necklace made of Jewish ears, but I mean, the craftsmanship is, I'm against that. But the craftsmanship was good. I mean, he preserved them and all that. It doesn't smell at all. What? What is the other? But I'm against that. But he has a necklace made of Jewish ears. Had any of this shit? He was along for the ride.
Because it'll probably get me a strike. Welcome to censorship, people.
Preserve what?
So that doesn't mean that if your great-great-granddaddy was a German soldier in World War II, that he was a bad person, you were a bad person, and your whole lineage and your whole race or ethnicity is bad. It doesn't mean that at all. We don't make the same mistakes that the other side does, which is just judge.
What? What is the other side? What is it all? Why is it all about sides? What is the other side? Why is it all about sides? What side are you talking about? Are you the good guys, Jenk? Are you the Justice League? Am I on the other side, Genk? Are we in the same side? What side are we on, Jenk? I'm a Hillary voter. I'm a Democrat. I'm an American. Are you an American? I'm white, you're brown. Oh, is that the sides, Jenk? What sides are we talking here? But we're not supposed to judge people on who they are.
All right.
Judging people based on who they are, okay? But just judging people based on who they are.
What? What is the other side? What is the other side? What? But we're not supposed to judge people on who they are? Yeah, we are. Yes, we are. What the fuck are you talking about? Yes. How else should we judge people? How else should we judge people? Who they are? Oh, I think you're trying to say, don't judge them on the color of their skin. I mean, you're basically plagiarizing fucking Martin Luther King. But thanks for the non-point, Genk. Okay, that's a retarded analogy, and an analogy. Okay.
Okay, but does that mean we should put up monuments in Germany to old Nazi soldiers?
That's a retarded analogy. Okay, that's a retarded analogy, and an analogy that he made for his insidious reasons. Nobody's putting up Confederate statues. If you listen to your gay co-host, he said that it was erected. It was erected in 1924. So putting up is a different thing than coexisting with. The thing has been up for damn near 100 years. And it's not an endorsement of slavery. I mean, it's triggered all you bitches. I live in Germany. Nobody's erecting statues here of Nobody's erecting statues of Nazi heroes. Nobody's erecting statues of Nazis. They've outlawed everything to do with Nazis. In fact, I have a brown t-shirt that I used to wear in Germany. I'd take it to the gym and wear it. And I would have a shaved head with a brown t-shirt on. And you know me, I'm yoked up. Looking like one of those super orcs from Lord of the Rings, the Uruk-hai. I'm sure one of the nerds will tell me how to pronounce that. And I'm walking around with a brown shirt, and my girlfriend's like, "What are you doing? Why are you trying to get in trouble?" And I was not aware that the brown shirts were literally wearing brown shirts. Because all that damn Nazi footage is all black and white. So I had no idea. For me, it was just a brown t-shirt. So your analogy is a failed analogy. Nobody put up a statue. Well, thank God. Well,
and idolize them?
No,
specifically
it doesn't mean
put
that.
them outside of the courthouse.
Right.
You are walking into ostensibly a place of justice, and to walk by a statue dedicated to people who fought to keep folks in chains. That's not, I don't think that sends a very good message.
Well, thank God nobody's doing that today. It was all those years ago by different human beings. But you bitches, but you soft cunts, but all you soft weaklings need enemies. And your enemies don't even have to be alive. They could be just symbols, just a statue from 100 years ago. Having a statue up does not mean you endorse everything that the man did or believed in. Do I care about Confederate soldiers? No, I don't. You know what I would recommend? Here's a sensible approach. Here's a sensible approach and the correct approach. Have a vote. We live in a democracy. If the people today are troubled by the statue that was put up in the 1920s, then vote to take it down. And if the vote comes out that you would prefer it to be removed, I'm talking about the people in that city or in that state, then remove it through legal means, not in a dangerous mob style, where you have pathetic millennials spitting on it and kicking it. And it was a statue of, like they were Iraqis, and it was a statue of Saddam Hussein. These insignificant queefs were raging against a piece of metal as if they were in an anger management therapy class. And it was like, hey, you're upset with your mom and dad? They don't love you? They don't pay enough attention to you? Well, then hit this doll. Or go punch that pillow. I mean, these people are working through their own psychosis. They're fucking mental. The statue is not going to hurt you. The statue is not going to enslave you or anybody. Nobody is in favor of this. What is your point? Aside from virtue signaling, aside from desperately trying to virtue signal, aside from desperately trying to virtue signal and acting like a complete butthole. Not that there's anything right with that. So you vote on it, If they want to take it down, use a construction crew. Be civilized. It's amazing that the far left are happy to engage in the tactics of a mob, the tactics of violence. They're happy by any means necessary. By any means necessary. The ends justify the means. Who cares? We're on the good side. Remember that whole thing about sides? We're the heroes, man. Punch Nazis, kick statues, set shit on fire. You know, I mean, beat up fire hydrants. Pepper spray a Republican. I mean, you're doing it for the right reasons. You're doing it for the right reasons. Clearly, you're one of the good guys. This is the same kind of collectivist mob mentality that religious people use. From all religions. They say, well, whatever I do, my actions are correct because I'm doing them for God. God condones my actions. Yeah, and how many monuments are there?
And I'm fine taking them down.
So look, we live in a unique situation where we had a civil war in this country, and one side betrayed the United States, but we accepted them back because that's how magnanimous and wonderful America is. But now there's 700 monuments across the country for the traitors.
Yeah, and how many monuments are there for every founding father of America who were traitors to Great Britain? Everybody's a traitor in somebody's eye. They would consider them patriots. So they, not us, they decided to pay homage to their patriots who are not defined by their political decision to secede from the Union. There's more to human beings than that. I mean, this is like might makes right. So let's say the South won. Should then all the northern people not have statues for their heroes who fought and died? For their family? Eradicate those statues. They lost. It's over. And the reasoning is just dog shit when it comes to tearing down these statues because, well, first of all, it's just weak. Because like, oh, I feel really just triggered by this white dude on a horse. But to say that the beginning, middle, and end of all these men is that they had something to do with slavery. They were tangentially connected to slavery. They fought in a war that was fought in part to defend the institution of slavery. Therefore, fuck them. Fuck everything about them. Well, by this logic, I think it's time to tear down Martin Luther King's statue. Martin Luther King. You're familiar with him? Are you familiar with him? He's Mother Teresa to people like you. And Mother Teresa was a cunt, by the way. Martin Luther King was a homophobe. He was not an ally to gays. He was woefully ignorant. And backward on the issue of gay rights. He didn't recognize them, and he thought them to be abnormal. People who are suffering from a psychotic dysfunction. Martin Luther King Jr. and Sr. was a homophobe. So tear down that motherfucking statue ASAP. Shouldn't the logic be the same? Wouldn't you be in favor of that too? Or should we judge Martin Luther?
Whoa, somebody just sent me $100. Jesus, thank you.
Or should we judge Martin Luther King in context? Should we recognize the other things he did in his life? I super want a virtue signal. God, I really want a virtue signal that I'm into gays. Well, not into gays. God, I really want a virtue signal that I'm into gays. Well, not into gays. But you know what I mean. I like Eurovision, though. I support gay rights. So with that logic, I cannot stand the fact that Martin Luther King Jr. has a statue. He is a known homophobe. Tear it down. Here's a little Q&A that Martin... Oh, if you don't believe me, here's a little Q&A Martin Luther King did. Here's a little Q&A that Martin... Don't believe me, here's a little Q&A Martin Luther King did. Some gay kid comes to him and says, I am a boy, but I feel about boys the way... I ought to feel about girls. I don't want my parents to know girls. I don't want my parents to know about me. What can I do? Is there any place where I can go for help? Dr. King responded with, quote, your problem is not your problem. You saying being gay is a problem? Dr. King, what are you talking about? Your problem is not at all an uncommon one, yeah. However, it does require careful attention. The type of feeling that you have toward boys is probably not an innate tendency. Oh, it's not nature or nurture. Ah, it's not nature. Oh, it's not. Ah, it's not nature. Oh, ah. Oh, ah, it's not nature. Oh, ah, oh, ah. Ah, it's not nature. Gays, you don't have a choice. Gays are just choosing to be gay. It's a sickness. Baby, I was born this way. It's probably not an innate tendency, but something that has been culturally acquired. Your reasons for adopting this habit have now been consciously suppressed or unconsciously repressed. Sounds like some woo-woo there. Therefore, it is necessary to deal with this. Problem by getting back to some of the experiences and circumstances that led to the habit. In order to do this, I would suggest that you see a good psychiatrist. Lobotomy. One queer over the cuckoo's nest. Lobotomy time. A good psychiatrist who can assist you in bringing to the forefront of conscious all of those experiences and circumstances that led to the habit. You are already on the right road toward a solution. Since you honestly recognize the problem and have a desire to solve it. Yes. So gay people are problems that need to be solved. Being gay has nothing to do with nature. It is a habit, and you need to go see a shrink. The man was a homophobe. Take down his statue immediately. Or, just for fun, explain to me why we shouldn't take down his statue. But why we should for Confederate. But why we should for Confederate soldiers. I'll wait for that answer. It will never come. This has been Devin Tracy, peeling back the cranium of the regressive yet again and aggressive yet again and skull fucking him into submission. Hashtag no brain homo.
God damn, I'm hungry. This is the biggest, that's the most unsurprising thing I've ever heard in my life. Who's virtuous? Amy's here, Alexander, the gays, all right. So that's, I mean, they have about 20 minutes left on that video, which I have not gone over because I know I'd be just weird and pissed about it. So I'm going to chill out, and then I'm going to go back to this. Now, I'm going to go to Depeche, and I'm going to time this girl who pops in. Let's see if we can't get her to dance for us. Okay. Trim it. Come back. And kill the volume. Correct. And it's right outside. That girl's gone. What is? Yeah, that's all gone.
Right outside the door now. Right outside the door now. Testify. Door now. Testify. Outside the door now. Testify.
There we go. So, what's this like?
I will tear my weakness. Your coffin only silence, not the legless. Want to travel now with coffins on the corner. The jury sleep back. We found a weakness. Let it right outside the door. Now testify. Silence, not the legless. Want to travel now with coffins. Travel now with coffins on the corner. The jury sleep. Now with coffins on the corner. The jury sleep back. We found a weakness. Let it right outside the door. Now testify. 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 Let it right outside the door. Now testify.
Timestamp. Let's go there. Let's go there. Let's do that.
Let it right outside the door. Now testify. Right outside the door. Now testify. Right outside the door. Now right outside the door. Now testify. Let it right outside the door. Now testify. Coffins on the corner. The jury sleep back. Travel now with coffins on the corner. The jury sleep back. We found a weakness. Let it right outside the door. Now testify. The door. Now testify. Let it right outside the door. Now testify. testify.
Okay, all this footage is rubbish. So I'm gonna grab this, and I think there might be some shit before he starts singing, right? I think there's some shit back here. So let's look for that. The Battle of Dusseldorf, eh? Ooh, ooh, ooh. All good. There it is. Give me that.
Sleep back. We found your weakness. Let it right outside the door. Now testify. The jury.
Shit.
Now testify.
Let's see, what do I like? I do like all that. So, but I do like this too. No, I like this more.
Now testify.
That's right outside.
Now testify.
And then, boom, 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 boom,
Right outside the door. Now testify. Let's right outside the door. Now testify. Testify.
No, what I miss?
Let's testify. Let's testify.
There, just a little burst. A little burst there.
Let's testify. It's right outside the door.
Yeah. What is this?
It's right outside the door. The door.
Hate this.
Outside the door.
Beginning to where it all started.
The movie ran through me. The glamour subdued me. The tabloid untie me. I'm empty. Please fill me, Mr. Anchor. Assure me that Baghdad is burning. Your voice it is so soothing. That cutting one to the killing. I need you, my witness, to twist. Fill me, Mr. Anchor. Assure me that Baghdad is burning. Your voice it is.
This. You know, here comes the ass again, falling on my face like a memory, falling on my face like a new emotion. Dun, dun, dun. Not there. We want the drummer. Where's that drummer? Actually, we could start with that. Well, we started with it. Now let's scale it down. Yeah. Actually, if we're gonna zoom in like that, we might as well get the You know what I'm going for here. Yeah. So is what? Oh. Either that or the. Oh yeah. Is that what? Correct. So we pop back. And we're gonna replace that. That's gonna be the opening shot. Oh, we can do more actually. What am I doing? That's actually really fast. Weird. Okay, so we're gonna try a third time on that. And what you're dealing with is, yeah, it's a quick cut. Take it all the way back to there. Fuck it. Mm-hmm.
The movie ran through me. The movie ran through. The movie ran through me. The movie ran through me. The glamour subdue me. The tabloid untie me. I'm empty. Please fill me, Mr. Anchor. Show me that Baghdad is burning. Your voice.
Chop it. Drop. Mm.
That Baghdad is burning. Your voice, it is so soothing. Voice, it is so soothing. That cutting mantra of killing. I need you, my way.
To the girls. Mm-hmm. That's legit. It's all legit. It's acceptable. We'll take it. It's a lot. It's a lot of footage. Too much footage. Okay, we're gonna cut there. Check it.
That cutting mantra of
Let's get him.
it's burning. Your voice, it is so soothing. That cutting mantra. So soothing. That cutting mantra of killing. I need you, my witness, to twist this up.
After that.
So bloodless, you know me. Yeah, purge me now of thoughts of blaming you. Yes, the car is. To twist this up, so bloodless, you know me. Yeah, purge me now of thoughts of blaming you. Yes, the car is a wheelchair. My witness is. Yes, the car is a wheelchair.
Clap in there. I'll make it clap. So we'll come in. Bang. Bang, bang, bang. And we're actually changing up all the timing on this. So extend it.
Yes, the car is a wheelchair. My witness. Yes, the car is a wheelchair. A wheelchair. My witness. Your coughing only silence. Knock the legless. 1, 2, travel.
Boom. She's got to get.
A wheelchair. My witness. Your coughing.
So
A wheelchair. My witness. Your coughing only silence. Knock the legless. 1, 2, travel. The car is a wheelchair. My witness. Yes, the car is a wheelchair. My witness. Your car. Yes, the car is a wheelchair. My witness. Your coughing only silence. Knock the leg.
that.
A wheelchair. My witness. Your coughing only silence, rock the legless. 1, 2, 3.
That little arm needs to be
Silence, rock the legless. 1, 2.
that. Let's try it. That's 2. Pop it back.
The car is a wheelchair, my weakness. Yes, the car is a wheelchair, my weakness. Your coffin. A wheelchair, my weakness. Your coffin, only silence, rock the legless. 1, 2, 3.
Dum, 2. Go to clack. Dum, 1, 2.
Yes, the car is a wheelchair, my weakness. Your coffin, only silence, rock the legless. 1, 2, blaming you.
There.
This 1, 2, travel now. Your coffin, only silence, rock the legless. 1, 2, travel now. When coffin's on the corner. The jury sleep best. We found your. Yes, the car. Corner. The jury sleep best. We found the.
Faster.
The jury sleep best. We found your weak. Jury sleep best. We found your weakness. Let it right outside the door. Now testify. Now testify. Let's right outside the door. Now testify. Let's right outside the door. Now testify.
Okay, all that is.
Let's right outside the door. Now testify.
Push it back.
Let's right outside the door. Now testify. Let's testify. Let's right outside the door.
Boom, boom, okay, 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 down, down. There we go.
Let's testify. Let's testify. It's right outside the door.
Jesus Christ. Alright. Bring the whole motherfucking thing in. It's time. More time to fuck around. Okay. Faster, please. That's some good humping there. See about that.
With precision. With precision.
That don't make any sense. gonna go up.
Your temple, let come, so I can carry on. Your temple, let come be, so I can carry on. My slaving, sweating, the skin right off my bones. Set on fire, I'm choking on the smoke that fills my home. The fucking ball is rushing. Bones on a bed on fire, I'm choking on the smoke that fills my home. On the smoke that fills my home, the fucking ball is rushing. Witness, you're blushing. The pipeline is gushing while here we lying. While on the shit, while here we lying too. While on the corner, luxury sleepless. We found your weakness. We found your weakness. And it's right outside your door. Now testify. Luxury sleepless. We found your weakness. And it's right outside your door. Now testify.
That's just the way it goes. That's dog shit. It's an FLV, yeah. Alright. Be that way. You can dance if you want to. You can lead your friends behind. If your friends don't dance, and if they don't dance, they're not friends somehow. Say, you can dance with you. And that's some bullshit. Rang gang 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 gang. Rang gang 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 gang. Rang gang 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 gang. Yeah, spoiler alert. Rang gang 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 gang. Rang gang gang gang. And it's right outside your door, and it's right outside your door. Shit. Shit. Alright. That way. A spoiler there. It's right outside your door, and Jon Snow will testify. Jon Snow, prepare to meet your doom. You're gonna get pwned. Okay. Oh, for fuck's sake. What are we witnessing here? Fresh. It's fucking dope shit. We're all stars now. In the dope show. Yeah. Oh. There's a song of ice and fire for you. Fire beats ice, you bitch. Flame on. See ya. Christ, is that fucking unbelievable. Good lord, what an episode. Me likey. And we're done. And we're done. Bend the fucking knee. Game of Thrones, here we go. Here we go. Videos. I drop in this video right here, and it's right outside your door. Yeah, that's shit. It's a shame. It's a shame I can't record it high quality. Scale up. Mm-hmm.
And it's right outside your door, now testify. Now testify. Outside your door, now testify. And testify. It's right outside your door.
Shit.
Now testify. It's right outside your door, now testify. It's right outside your door, now testify. Right outside your door, now testify. Now testify. Now testify. Now testify. But it's right outside your door. Who controls the past? Who controls the past now? Controls the past now. Controls the future. Past now. Controls the future. Controls the past. Who controls the past now? Controls the future. Who controls the past now? Who controls the past now? Controls the future. Who controls the Who controls the present? Who controls the present now? Now just
The fuck is Joe? Alright. Let's try to go for half resolution. Let's see if we can do it.
The movie ran through me, the clever subdue me, the tabloid untie me. I'm empty, please fill me, Mr. Anchor, assure me that Baghdad is burning. Your voice it is so soothing, that cunning mantra of killing. I need you, my witness, to dress this up so bloodless. To know me, yet purge me now of thoughts of blaming you. Yes, the car is a wheelchair, my witness. Your coffin, only silence, not the legless. Want to travel now with coffins on the corner. The jury sleepless. We found the weakness. And it's right outside the door. Now testify. Now testify. It's right outside the door. Now testify. Now testify. It's right outside the door. Now testify. Yes, testify. It's right outside the door. With precision, you now testify. You feed me, my witness. I'm hungry. Your temple, it cost me so I can carry on. My slaving, sweating, the skin right off my bones on a bed of fire. I'm choking on the smoke that fills my home. The wrecking ball is rushing. Witness, you're blushing. The spotlight is gushing. While here we lie in two while on the corner. The jury sleepless. We found your weakness. And it's right outside the door. Now testify. Yeah, testify. It's right outside the door. Now testify. Now testify. But it's right outside the door. You feed me. Who controls the past now? Controls the future. Who controls the present now? Controls the past. Who controls the past now? Controls the future. Who controls the present now? Now testify. Testify. Let's right outside the door. Now testify. Testify. Let's right outside the door.
Alright, there you go. What's what called? No spoilers. What are you talking about? I'm keeping abreast of Joe. Nothing from Joe, nothing. Alright. And it's time for a game of chess, then. So I put in the groundwork. I've edited the audio on that, and still got to compile it, but you know, do it in another session. Let's get this going on. Let's get a game. I'm ranked 1882, taking on a Mexican. He's trying my own defense against me, my own offense against me, and he's trying to. He's given up a pawn, but he's hoping to attack me very rapidly. He's got his pieces out, defensive move on the king side. Alright, he's coming with an exchange here. He takes. I take back. I gotta be careful here. His king's over there. There. Right there. Now, I'm gonna castle, lining up his queen with my rook. And I'm going to push this pawn next. And it's okay if he wants to do this exchange because I got that. Oops, that. Yeah, I'll force that. Oh shit, now I'm fucked. I didn't see it. Where did I not see that? Oh, he had that for a while. Oh, I see. No, I didn't. That was just a mess up by me. So, what to do, I go there, he takes here. It's all shit. It's not bad. I mean, it's some compensation. Because now I got the fork job here. Actually, that's an interesting move. Very interesting. Not that interesting. Son of a bitch. It could have been interesting, but it wasn't. Not good. Well. Oh, it's so close. I could have fucked him if this guy's preventing me from fucking him. If I take there, he takes back here. I come in here for the win. But this guy's defending. So, shit. I have to take the queen. If you take the queen with this, he takes back with this. I have to take back with this. He then takes here. So, it's over. It is over. I take. He takes back. And I'm down a minute on time. Yeah, it's nothing too shocking. Looking for that mate. Sick, dirty. Well, it's not mate, but he's gonna still put me in check. You gotta get all excited about that. Oh, fuck him. That's good. Well played. Denied my request for a rematch. Remove these treasonous bastards. If you're an enemy of my country, you should not have statues in my country. What? The fuck? Guy needs to calm down. He wakes up in 2017. He's like, "What? We gotta fight the Confederacy." What a moron. People are such cunts. I mean, it's like the Hound said in this episode. The people are cunts. It's just true. They're just weak. All right. Canadian. That's the nature of speed chess. Is if you don't take time for every move and assess. Oh, interesting. No, you're not going to stand there. No. And here comes that exchange. This pawn is open. He might try that, but if he tries, I'm going to take it. How is he going to defend that? That's a question. Move the queen up there. Okay, I might flush it. A little bit of that. That's the issue. Centralized pawn. Oh, ignored. Okay, I'll take. Here comes this. Castle. He can't resist that now. But see, my pawn structure is going to be superior in the middle. Just that one. Even though I have doubled up here. His queen is now looking there. Yes. So it's a hoedown right here. Everything's going down. Now I can safely ignore that. He's just gonna swap and swap. I'm gonna push that. Interesting. Where are we going? That's checkmate. Don't want to do that necessarily. Let's go there. No, he has to feel the pressure on that. If he takes there, now he left this one, so that, I don't know what I can do with that. Not much. He locks it down. Yeah. Let's just power trip. Offers a draw? Kidding me? Sign of weakness? Confirmed. This one goes here. Next, we're going to push this pawn, flush him out, and that's a queen take. So now it's over. Exactly. He wants that rematch. Alright. Rematch. I'm going to do a little move I like to call pawn goes... Actually, he just shut that down. I'm going to go here. And he's flushing me out. And it's a massive flush out. Interesting choice he has here. He might push. He ignores. He ignored me. He was like, you ain't shit. Alright. Be that way. Another choice for him. You have chosen wisely. Here comes this move, little power play. Not that exciting. Now, yeah, there it is. He should be a little bit worried that I can predict his every move. Let's go ahead and not take that because that would be bad. Let's go there. Offers a draw again. Bang, bang, bang. So filthy. What the fuck? Oh my god. Missed that. Wow. Awful. Haven't played in a while. Let's open up this file here. Here comes that. You might ignore that push there. My bishop is trapped. Yeah, he ignored it. Just as I suspected he might. And then I counter with that. Now here comes that pawn push, which I will retreat there and then cycle back there. And he's going to bring his castle in here. No, he doesn't. I come there. Threat is there. He can't sacrifice this because I take. As an in-between move, I still have this tension here. That is a move. Bust open that side. Oh, hi. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's not. He's out of offense here. There it is. I come here, pressuring there, looking for the check. He's got to defend with something. There it is. It's a good defense. Let's push him out of the way. Yeah, get the fuck out. Are you kidding me? Let's pump up that jam. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and take that. Now he's got a choice. There's a threat here, there's a threat there. This piece is still being defended here. I have a revealed threat on his knight. What the fuck? That's in between move of not signifying too much. Now he's got a what? I can't take that. What? Powerful, powerful win. Where was the significant move? I guess. Well, yeah, he went for the queen exchange there. Exchange, take. There. He wanted that pawn, but then he didn't see those. Take. He can't take. If he takes, I take. I checkmate. Who's Mickey? Oh, this guy. No. Anyway. So, no live stream from Joe, eh? Disappointing. What the fuck, Joe? That sucks. Alright, well. The night is dark and full of terrors. I'll make the rest of this video tomorrow. Peace.